Revealing John's truthful words. This will be part 10, chapter 5, verse 34. To start off with, the story is about Jesus was in Jerusalem on the Passover, healed a man that was waiting to step into the pool. He is harassed by people why is he carrying? He said, because someone told me to, and then Jesus pretty much meets up with him later, and then he goes back to these guys like, this is the guy that did this. So this is his witnessing of himself and John as to these men that are harassing him about who give him the authority to tell them about carrying an item, when it was more or less about Jesus is going to tell him, because as a prophet I healed him, so I ordered him this. And it's kind of like this text really isn't explained why, so I try to just say that Jesus didn't want that laying around at that time, but as to make him a witness that he is healed. It's pretty much, he told him to carry it, and now this action of him carrying something is now, let's see, is a reason for them to come to Jesus. And then Jesus is explaining to these people at this time that this is his favorable year of the Lord. So he doesn't announce it that way, but what he's doing is just telling them here that the witnessing he received is not from mankind. I don't need the words "these things" because we're just talking about received, and what did he receive? Well, that's coming up below. So these verses will have to be most likely switched around at some point to make it truthful in order, so I don't have to sit here and jumble up reasoning and go up and go down. That you may, that can't be true. It has to be the word might is being used here instead of the word may be forgiven. Which means that these people could still be forgiven, the ones that are approaching Jesus. Now, this verse here, where it's his light, this is John. He was a lamp that was burning and was shining. Burning and shining. Anyways, we already know that John was heralding. So we could say this is kind of like a parable type of verse to say that that's what John was doing. And while you were willing to rejoice for a while in his sight. Now this would have not been to them, because they're actually Jews. They're questioning why he has this authority. And then when he explains that he's a prophet, they kind of like, okay. And then this conversation Jesus is having with them, this is pretty much just stuck in here nonsensically. If it was a parable, it would be different, but it's a parable statement. But and it wasn't them. It would have been they were willing to rejoice. Well, anyways, that verse will be removed, as we already have other text. But now Jesus is getting down to what he received up here. And he's saying, my witness that I have is greater than John's. My work is from, not which, but is from our Father, and He has given me to accomplishment. Now, this is like what I'm saying is the favorable year of the Lord that Jesus is talking about, that He's to make Himself known that He is the King, uh, and He'll have a kingdom in heaven when He leaves earth, and then others can enter into His kingdom in heaven. When you think about if somebody asks you what reason is given that you can enter into heaven, well, that's because our Creator's, through His promises, we have this knowledge of Jesus coming, but now He's explaining the year. This is our Creator's prophecy happening, and Jesus is fulfilling this. And it's fulfilling all the other things that were our Creator said that He would do. The very works that I do, don't need those. I do bear as His witness of me. And that is, like I was just saying, it's our Creator's prophecy that He is to be sent. Now He is here, and now He is His witness that I am He that He has sent. Okay. And that our Father did send me. Okay, so not sent, but send me. Has sent me. I just wrote it the way I'm thinking the writer would write it. Could I use those words? Yeah, but I didn't bother to use it that way. I wanted it to say it this way. Our Father sent me. Okay, see, this here is sent me, and you here have neither heard His voice or seen Him. Not His form. The form is not, we are made in His image. So we have the knowledge that our Creator has two arms, a head, a body, and legs. Okay. So this is, but pretty much He's witnessing they have not seen Him. Now, if I left the word form in there, now our Creator has shown to me Him, or made me see Him as what I call a circle of white light, although it's not a circle as we see it, as I see Him, not in it. Sorry, Creator. Don't need to use the word it here when I'm explaining you. The the when when our Creator makes you see Him, He shows Himself as a circle of white light, but we don't know if this is a flat or if it's like, um, how can I put a shape to where, like a magnifying glass, okay? That type of shape of light, because brilliant purity, the light is just brilliant, okay? His light is just purity. Could I use this as the word form, or should I put heard His voice nor seen His light? Maybe I should put in His light, not form. Maybe that would be better. Now that I've talked myself through this, because we know from above the text, John is taught that Jesus is being told that he's come from His light. So let me put that in there correctly and then save the text. Thus you did not keep His word, and you did not believe in Him who's in Him. Um, we're talking about the Father. Okay. I'm just wondering if the word should start presenting his name in the verse when Jesus would be talking, but he's already addressed him as our Father. Was not kept, you did not keep his word, nor did you believe in him. These, if you search the scriptures, search the verses. If you search in the scriptures, it's not I don't think it's a great way of saying what needs to be done. It's the verses that he's looking for. So I'm using the word verses, not scripture. Oh, I wanted to take a look at the word form here to see what form was in 37. And this was, so give me a second. Let me set up because I forgot to do this before I turn down but they'll be ready for the rest of the videos I make today. So, okay. And all right, and I'll see that's good. I got other things. I'm trying to use new hotkeys, and it's just not working. It says form here, and we have over here appearance, sight, and I'm using light under the three types of appearance. So I guess that's more true there. So okay, let's see this one. Okay, I just wanted to cover that word there in the video. Now let's see here. Yeah, this editing isn't too bad to where I need to explain too much more here. And here writings have to be prophecies. They're just not, these aren't just verses that he's looking up the verses. Now these are the prophecies. And so they will believe my words. Example, let's see. I have a new slide, and if I pull this up, this is Isaiah, and we have this from Isaiah 30 or 53. And if you take a screenshot here of these verses, you can see that all these are kind of describing Jesus by Isaiah. So it's given an account of him, a witnessing of him. And then we have another witnessing of Jesus by Abraham. Let's see where they should have this. That should be right here. I've shown this a few times. Take a screenshot of that, and you will see that that too is Jesus being a king, and all nations will be blessed. So the thing here is okay. But I want to come back to the text and put me back in here. Now, he went to the other side of the Sea of Galilee. Well, we don't need that. It's the lake. Or this here location, this city here. Now, let me pull that up a little bit here. That's should be this map here. They're saying it's this place here, which goes from here to here. is where they're saying he went. So that's the idea of what the text here is, to the other side of Lake Galilee or this here area. That is, yes. In a multitude, I limited the multitude to a crowd until there's a multitude of lots and lots and lots of people. Okay. Um, the crowd was following him because they saw the healings which he had done. Now, how did they get there from the other side? And that's what I'm saying. This text is, John is so crappy. I mean, it is just crappy, 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 and how these verses just pop up. Because right now I'm ending this verse that Jesus is talking to him, and then it's like after these things, I can use the word then. Jesus went to the other side of Lake Galilee, but we never had him in Galilee or by a city to begin with. And if he was on the other side, that's the Judean, or what I've labeled as Judas, or Jordan side. That's East Manasseh, and that was pretty much the those descendants were the first to leave our Creator. So this area has always been pretty much evil from the time of Samuel, I would say. It's somewhere in there. I guess if I pulled up the king's timeline, I could say what that is. Um, okay, yeah, it's way up here. So this is like after, uh, let's see, I guess it's about 150 years after um, Samuel. So, but the object here is because they saw the healings he had done. Well, where did they see them healings being done that they came over to? So the thing here is these verses are out of order, but I'm going to keep them because I know I might be able to use them someplace else. If not, they're just going to be thrown away. And then Jesus went up on a hill and he sat with his disciples. And now all of a sudden, now his Passover and celebration for the for the Israelis was near. Jews who didn't believe in Jesus would not be going to the celebration. So it's the Israelis, those that are true followers of our Creator. They went to Jerusalem. It was not at hand; it was near. Um, yeah, I guess I made myself a note that these are pieces, and then I'm getting rid of this because the text from above, okay, is where there was Jesus was saying that he's still in Jerusalem. Okay. Oh man, and he has to be so. And he can't have sat with his followers. It has to be followers here. He doesn't have no disciples, so followers. It has to be followers. Um, that was the followers. Now this was after the celebration that this took place, or during the celebration. So how can I correct this sentence to say that? Jesus went up to a hill and sat with his followers because Jerusalem was kind of like a mount that they leveled off, and then they um, put his um, tent or they had the house for meeting with our Creator built, and then Jerusalem was built around it. But it is this hill, and I'm trying to think. I'm not sure that they went to a hill, but Jesus, uh, if I get rid of the word sat, or and the word hill, and now I have Jesus went to a hill with his followers. That has to be during the celebration for Israelis. This has to be removed. Um, that can't be true. The feast, they keep calling it a feast. I had to change it to celebration. They don't understand that that's this. When I say celebration, there's 8 days. The first day is the Passover, and they're supposed to eat the Passover meal at twilight, the night, and in the morning, they're supposed to get rid of all the meal or anything that had to do with the meal, and then they were to celebrate as holy days for the next until the next holy day. So there's 8 days. 7 plus 1 is 8 days for the celebration. So went up a hill with his followers for them to celebrate. Then how do I? This needs to be taken out. This needs to be red text for them to celebrate with other Israelis. Wow, that's kind of what needs to be said. So this is gone before we celebrate with the Israelis. Um, and I think I'm going to combine these two verses together. Okay, that's how it's going to read then. That seems to be more truthful as to the situation. And you've had to probably hang in here with me for the last couple videos to actually get this story, because this the two stories here are very important because they are not in the other books. So, like I've said in those videos, sometimes when I'm creating like this verse here, um, am I making it mine? Yes, but I'm making it mine by the knowledge I've been telling you about in the last few videos. For this to actually be understood, um, I have to explain in depth. I mean, I think I took like 40 minutes to go through just 8 verses, but this is a continuing of the story, so this all has to make sense. That's why they couldn't have been onto the other lake. So this is this. Um, yes, I should just. I guess I'll leave it there for the PDF, and then I got it removed here. Yeah, with my note here. That he is in Jerusalem. Now comes text again. Now he's with his disciple Philip. This is where we. And he said, Philip, where are we going to buy bread for these two? Well, Jesus didn't ask them about how we're going to feed people, so that's how he was saying this to test him. He himself knew what he intended to do. There's a lad here at 5 barrel. Okay, now from the other uh, stories, we know that this is not true. So, like I said, I have better verses of this story. So, now the amount of people numbering about 5,000. Um, when you feed people, you're feeding 5,000. That's a lot of people, and it's not very easily done. It has to be well organized. So I can't trust numbers like this. In fact, I don't think there's any. Yeah, I don't care about the secular world. Um, Giving us thanks, he distributed. Yeah, they're up. That's in the other verse. They weren't baskets. They didn't have baskets. This is what kind of loaves they had. That doesn't really matter. They talked about him. This was Jesus's manna, like they did in manna. So that verse is there. Now, Jesus, therefore perceiving what they were intended to do, and come and take him by force and make him their king. No, that's um, the story is not in the right place. See, now they get into a boat and they cross, and this is just way out of story, choppy, very choppy. Um, Now here they rode about 3 or 4 miles. Um, Let me show you why that can't be true. Um, this lake distance here is maybe 10 miles. So if they rode 3 or 4 miles, they're almost all the way across anywhere they do this crossing, and surely not from here, but um, these numbers are wrong. Beheld Jesus walking on the sea while walking on the lake. Um, there is better stories, and that's why I said when I used the other stories, Jesus is not walking on the water. He is gliding. There's a video in the description below for that. And then the boat immediately landed to where they're going. No, that's the next day. The mole post stood on the other side of the sea, and there was no snow. Yeah, this is just nonsense. Okay, now see, this is the location of where they were saying that they ate bread from, or he fed them, but you can't see um, people at that far away. Okay, um, I'm just thinking if they're trying to see across the water, uh, everything that far across would be very small, so they wouldn't really, they couldn't see the boats or whatever, or see that they were alone. Um, and since I'm getting it out, I don't need this word or this word. Here is if I was to add it and correct it. And that means I did try to correct this text before I just kind of tossed it out when I went through. Has set a seal? I don't think so. It's just weird to have that added at the end, that our creator will set his seal. Um, they say that for him that they said, therefore, to Jesus, what will we do that we may work the works of YV? Now, nobody else would be asking him, um, let us be like the creator. He's already informed them from the text just above in John that he says that he has to ask our creator, and anyone who has the faith, or not faith, but has the trust in our creator as Jesus has, he will allow those to happen here on earth. But that's just wrong here. This we have in another place. So all those verses aren't needed. Most of them are not truthful to begin with. And now we have this text here. Did a miracle, not a sign, a miracle. Um, like I said, it depends on how I'm using the word miracle. And this is pretty much going to talk about, okay, well, here's the text with about others who had like in manna. And they would have considered this one of his wonders. But at this time, I'm using the word miracle because these are things that Jesus is just beginning to do among a small group of them. Um, because our Creator's wonder would have been that manna appeared on the land in the morning. Jesus didn't do that, so it wouldn't have been a wonder. I'm trying to see if I can put the word wonder here and relate it to the word wonder as by what our creator had done. Like people wondered what the heck happened there. uh, but this would have been, yes, I'm going to use the word miracle. And it wasn't in the wilderness, it was in the desert. So And this is not out of heaven. This is not true what Jesus just did. So that's not truthful. If Moses who has given you bread out of heaven. No, it wasn't Moses who did that. Grant color that word. Sent me for your true bread, not out of heaven. We understand that is where our Creator come from, or Jesus came from our Father, as we all did. Let's see. Yeah, that's pretty much. Now these words here. See, this here gives life, but this is not. It's better said in other verses because what Jesus is saying is that uh, his words, like he said, are the Father who sent me for your true bread. Um, so this is kind of like a double speak of what's happening. YV, a bread of YV, I don't think there's such a thing. I'm pretty sure there isn't. So I'm sure Jesus, unless you're talking about like a parable where the bread of YV would be the prophecies by YV. But this verse doesn't need to be there. And this doesn't need to be there. And just Jesus keeps picking up from last time. I'm your bread for life. I think I should add more words to this. I am your bread for your life with me. Life with me, for who comes to me will not hunger. This is like double speaking, so I don't need those words. The words aren't needed. You have seen me and believe me. Now, it had here, yet do not believe me, yet that's what his followers are. His followers are believing. He is speaking to his followers. So just try to put the stories that I know into my head, and I don't see Jesus feeding other people while he's there with them celebrating. He's just now among fellow Israelis, and they're all talking about him, what he had just done about a healing. So this is the beginning of Jesus' favorable year to our Lord, favorable year of our Lord. Everyone our Father gives me, I will certainly not cast them out of heaven. And I had to add where this is from, where he's speaking, because they just, we have to, I'm sure today it's easy to understand, but when you guys got these verses like this that are, and you're trying to make sense of them, you would easily add these words as well, because you know that's what he's speaking about. So some of these you guys should not be arguing about or having trouble with. And I'm going to finish this video right here and start with another one. Hopefully next one goes a little bit better. This is warm up. This is the morning video. Other than that, let's see. I think it's this one.